The Orlando Magic are moving on in the NBA Cup, but getting there was a journey. Today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is December 4th, 2024. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, the Orlando Magic are moving on in the NBA Cup. Maybe that's the most important thing. Maybe it's not. But the Magic did not play well against the New York Knicks. Not in the least. What the Magic's loss to the Knicks says about them and where they're at and whether we should be concerned today on Locked On Magic. But before doing that, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day, no matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload. We truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. And Locked On Magic can be an even bigger part of your day with the Locked On Magic Daily Newsletter. It's the one-stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic newsletter. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is sponsored by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the final score on our little rundown. Knicks 121, Magic 106. Bottom line, Magic advance. They had a 30-point cushion. It turned into 37 after the Bucks beat the Pistons. They had a 37-point cushion to advance in the NBA Cup into the quarterfinals. A loss was not the end of the world. And look, there's no shame in losing on the road to the New York Knicks. The result matters. Magic need to win. But as far as the NBA Cup was concerned, as far as what I'm about to talk about being in the spotlight and having this attention on you, it wasn't necessarily about winning or losing. It was about acquitting yourself well. It was about playing Orlando Magic basketball and introducing yourselves to the national world. So yes, the Magic advanced. But what that final score doesn't tell you was just how dicey it is, how dicey it all was. Because the Knicks at one point did lead by 37. Instead of this game being a statement for the Magic, a statement of intent, a statement of recognition, the kind that earned 15 minutes in the 30-minute pregame show on TNT to the Orlando Magic, introducing the national audience to this team. Instead, the game was a referendum on the Knicks. And instead, the game was the Knicks making their statement, saying, we're the title contenders. We're the team y'all thought we were. We're starting to figure our things out. We're playing better defense now. We've got an elite offense. And these young pups ain't ready to howl with us yet. Not to put it too much on the nose, but like Paul Pierce said, sometimes you look like a bunch of poodles and the other team is a bunch of Rottweilers. It's one game. I want to make that completely clear. It's one game of 82. The Magic, probably a little restless, staying in New York for so long. Nothing they can do about that. They got blitzed. And sometimes in the NBA, you just get beat. Sometimes in the NBA, the other team's hot and just better than you, and there is nothing you can do about it. Sometimes in the NBA, there's just a confluence of it's not your night and it's their night. It was the Knicks' night. Let's be clear. They played a fantastic game. Any criticism I am going to levy at the Magic in this game has to start with the Knicks did that. The Knicks put the Magic in a position where they were making these mistakes, where they were unable to find their footing. And yeah, it's going to be a credit to the Magic that they're going to have that they'll probably play a lot better and put all these things to doubt and to rest on Wednesday in Philadelphia. I'm expecting a better effort. But plain and simple, with the hype associated with this game, with how important the stakes involved, the Magic essentially no-showed. I don't want to say they embarrassed themselves, but with the spotlight fully, and I think I did earlier in the day, but that's neither here nor there. With the spotlight fully on the Magic, they shrunk. They shrunk in the spotlight. And for a team that is so rarely on national TV, and look, we're going to get another game next week on national TV. We got another game we got 2 more in December coming up. Believe there's one in January as well. The Magic will get to be on national TV, and we know they can win these games. We saw them win in the playoffs. But in this spotlight, the Magic did not perform. Plain and simple. They did not play to their standard. They did not play Magic basketball. And everybody has to recognize that and ask themselves why. Again, give a lot of credit to the New York Knicks. They played exceptionally well. They moved the ball. They picked the Magic apart. They spread them out, got rid of those tight spaces the Magic like to play in, and scored seemingly at will. The Magic offensively, they made their first 3 threes, and that made everything look good. But then they missed over and over and over again, as they are wont to do. And the Knicks upped the pressure, put them in a bind, kept them from getting downhill to the paint, although the Magic still finished with 58 points in paint. They prevented the Magic from finding any sort of rhythm. And before you knew it, it was a double-digit lead. Magic had bad first quarters all the time, but their second quarter was not much better. They're down by 20 at the half. They come out of the locker room, they make their first shot, but then the Knicks keep hitting. The Knicks keep getting to the foul line. The second worst team in the league in free throw rate made all 20 of their free throws in this game. The Magic could not answer that. They could not get to the line themselves, which they must do to supplement their lack of three-point shooting. And the Knicks just kept making and making and making. And all of a sudden, midway through that third quarter, the Magic advancing to the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup seemed in doubt. Did not seem like a certainty. The Magic had their work cut out for them. But they found a way. Got the job done. Got the deficit down to 15 to make the score look a little prettier. They're moving on to face Milwaukee next week in Milwaukee now. The questions, though, remain. We've asked these questions. We've wondered these things. We've wanted to see this team play against elite competition. And while the Knicks are elite competition, one of the best offenses in the league, they broke the Magic's defense. One of the first times this year the Magic's defense has gotten broken. And look, that's going to happen. It is a long season. But as much as this was about the Knicks, it was also about the Magic. It was also about what the Magic didn't have, what the Magic couldn't figure out, how frustrated they got. At the end of the day, these are the games you have to win. These are the games the Magic need to prove themselves. Entering this game, the Magic, with 15 wins, they're now 15-8, had only 2 wins against teams with records that are currently above 500. They beat the Phoenix Suns without Kevin Durant, and they beat the Los Angeles Lakers. Miami Heat are now a game under 500. That was their other win that was at 500. That's not the case anymore. Look, you got to beat the bad teams. Don't apologize for beating the bad teams. But if the Magic are going to compete in the playoffs, and the NBA Cup is a facsimile for the playoffs, it is a practice run for the playoffs. And believe it, it is important to the Magic. Jamal Mosley acknowledged they knew what they needed to advance. And Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs probably extended their minutes a little longer than they might otherwise do in a 25-point loss or a 30-point game to make sure they got under that number comfortably. And yeah, the Magic have a game on Wednesday night. So they cared enough to stretch themselves in this game. But the Magic had this opportunity. We talked so much about it. We talked about it in August. They had this opportunity to make a statement of intent. And instead of saying we are ready to contend, and yeah, Paolo Banchero is still out. It's, there's a lot more that's going to come from this. The broadcast, thankfully, very much noted Paolo Banchero is still out. Instead of being able to make a statement that the Magic are ready to contend, are ready to elevate their game, the nation is probably sitting there thinking, this Magic team are pretenders. They feast on gristle. They feast on fat. And yeah, you got to have that. It tastes sweet. But the real meat's in the middle. The real meat is beating teams like the Knicks. The real meat is winning these types of games when everybody around the world is watching you. The Magic are a young team, missing their best player. They'll get other opportunities. They're going to get another opportunity next week to do it in Milwaukee. They'll get the opportunity at home against Oklahoma City coming up in a few weeks toward the end of the month. The Magic will get more opportunities to show us who they are. It was not this night, though. And as is the case with every one of these major losses, we have to ask the big questions. Is this a bigger problem than what we saw? Because if you've listened to the show for a long time, you've been through a lot of 30-point losses. I'll tell you, 30-point losses tell you more about the losing team than they do the winning team. And while I want to give all the credit to the New York Knicks, we got to talk about why the Magic lost this game by 30. They lost by 15, but trailed by 30 at long stretches of this game. We're going to get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. Usually I go to games and I am in the media corps. So I am with the media. I am getting behind the scenes. I don't always go to events as fans. Well, this Thursday, I'm going to an event as a fan. I'm going to be in the Kia Center Thursday night to see Creed and Three Doors Down. I'm a child of the 90s. I'm not apologizing for it. And when I was getting to my tickets, the first place, the only place I went to was Game Time. Game Time has so many great features, including their Game Time picks that make getting tickets to see your favorite teams or to your favorite shows, seeing them live even easier. Game Time picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time is so great. They give you these, they put the little fire emoji on the seats that are the scorching hot prices that are below market to help you get the best seats in the house at the best price. Their digital panoramic view allows you to see what the stage, court, field, whatever it is, looks like from your seat before you purchase. That is such a big thing. And with Game Time, their ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is also brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. There's a million daily fantasy games out there, but Prize Picks is the best in my estimation because it is not about anything more than you and the numbers. That's right. You play some of the other daily fantasy games out there. You've got a weird salary cap you have to understand. You got some weird point system you have to understand. And on top of all that, you got to go up against the sharks. You're entering these player pools and you're just happy to get your money back. With Prize Picks, though, it is you versus the numbers. All you got to do is pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. And the best part about Prize Picks, honestly, is depending on how big your group is, you could get your money back, maybe even a little bit more, with just 3 correct picks. If you're doing a group of 5, 3 correct picks is going to get you essentially your money back. It's so the payouts are so much better than any other fantasy game that I played on the market. That's why I turn to Prize Picks every single time. And Prize Picks is the best way to get on sports. It's available in more than 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks even now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app, use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. If you know me, if you follow the show, you know I am not one that's going to overreact to anything. Like, this sucks. This loss sucks. I'm disappointed. I was excited for this game as a Magic fan. I know a lot of Magic fans are really looking forward to this game. This was one I had circled on my calendar when the schedule came out in August. I was like, this game is going to matter. This game is going to show us. I was on the pod yesterday. I was on several pods with Knicks people, And we all kind of agreed, regardless of the outcome, we're going to learn a lot about our teams in this game. This is a measuring stick game. It is an 82-game season, but some games mean a little bit more and tell you a little bit more. This was a big one. And look, no doubt about it, the Magic have feasted on a week's part of the schedule. Look, it's still hard to win 12 of 13 games. It's really hard. The one loss was to a good Clippers team. It's hard to do that, especially without your best player. You're going to trip up somewhere along the road, and the Magic kept on winning. But very clearly, this team needs a little bit more. Very clearly, this team, at least as constructed, wasn't ready for primetime. And so we're back to asking all the similar questions, because this game against the Knicks, frankly, felt like the losses to the Mavericks and the losses to the Thunder back in October or November, whenever that was, early November. This felt like some of those early losses right after Paolo Banchero got hurt. And look, I think the Magic played a lot better than those games in some respects, but very similar to those games, the Magic started missing shots. The other team started making some tough shots. The defense got loose. They turned the ball over. Mistakes just compounded. And this is the kind of game that reminds you, yes, the Magic are missing their best player. That the Magic are missing Paolo Banchero. And against these elite teams, you need multiple ways to attack. And so watching Franz Wagner try and get a switch that he likes to attack downhill and get to the basket, it just wasn't working. It just wasn't going. It wasn't doing what the Magic need to do. It wasn't efficient. And so we can go through the litany of issues that we know the Magic have. We know they need some better ball handling and creation. We know they need another table setter and creator. We know they need more three-point shooting, more consistent three-point shooting. You know, the Magic just continuing to struggle from beyond the arc. They shoot 9 for 39 in this game. And again, like I say this a million times, it's not about their makes. It's not about their percentage. It's about the difference between the two teams. The Knicks were 15 for 35 from three. In the third quarter alone, they went 6 for 10. Orlando went 1 for 9. That's how you get outscored by 11 points and see a 20-point deficit become an impossible 31-point deficit. The Magic got outshot from three. Like that happened. It's got that can happen, but the Magic got to be able to keep up a little bit. So they got to chase New York off the 3-point line, give up some paint points, or they got to make more threes. Magic missed a bunch of open threes. Even Tom Thibodeau had to acknowledge that they were missing open threes that the Knicks had to clean up. It's just a struggle. I don't know what the answer to all these questions are. You know, certainly the Magic not having Goga Bitadze, that hurt the team a little bit. No doubt about it. But I don't think that solves the problem necessarily. Like, does Goga add a little bit more girth to help defend Karl Anthony Towns? Probably. Towns, 23 points, 15 rebounds. Did have 5 turnovers, but, you know, just dominated the Magic in the paint. 8 for 18 shooting, 2 for 5 from three. Really was a hard cover for the Magic, and the Magic were just so scared of his three-point shooting, it opened up everything for everyone else. OG Anunoby, who's been in a long shooting slump, scored 18 points and had 4 for 7 shooting. Sometimes it's not your night. Sometimes it's their night. And like, look, the Knicks played a really good game. But the Magic should and need to play better. The Magic should play a lot better than this. And we have to ask, why against elite teams like the Thunder, like the Mavericks, like the Cavs? Granted, those were the first 3 games after the Magic lost Paolo Banchero. So do we count those? Is that a pattern? Is this a problem that the Magic have? That's the heart of the question. Do the Magic have a problem against elite teams? And like I said, they've only beaten 2. They've only beaten 2 teams with winning records. I don't think anyone's confusing the Lakers for an elite team, and the Suns without Kevin Durant, probably not an elite team either. We'll see the Suns on Sunday in Orlando before the Magic ship out to Milwaukee. It's not easy. This is not an easy thing to solve. And frankly, we need more data. So all those questions, are the Magic better off with Goga Bitadze at center? this was not a strong game for Wendell Carter, to say the least. Although he did have 7 rebounds and 3 assists, not his strongest game. Was not a presence defensively, just was not even a presence offensively. Only 2 points in the game. Not his strongest game. It just plain and simple. Do the Magic need to ensure that they get another point guard? Anthony Black, also not his strongest game. And again, back in a place where he struggled last time the Magic were in the Garden. 6 points, 3 for 4 shooting, 20 minutes, 3 assists, 4 turnovers. Not going to get the job done. Do the Magic need more 3-point shooting? Absolutely. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was 3 for 7. Franz Wagner was 1 for 5, missed his last 4. Tristan De Silva was 2 for 3. Jalen Suggs 0 for 8. A lot of the problem in this game was, the Magic need their best players to play better. And some of that, frankly, comes down to, Paolo Banchero returning is going to put players in proper roles. It's going to give the Magic that second attacker. Unfortunately, we can't draw conclusions off of this one game. As much of a spotlight is on this game, it's just one game. For whatever reason, the Magic were lethargic. They weren't themselves. And until it happens regularly, it's probably not something to be concerned about. Does it suck that it happened in a big game? Absolutely. Is this a narrative that's going to follow the team around like Franz Wagner's Game 7 followed him around for a little bit? Absolutely. The Magic have to answer these questions. And if the Magic aren't capable of beating good teams, or at least competing with good teams, forget beating them right now. Let's compete. The Mavericks blew the Magic out. The Thunder blew the Magic out. The Cavs blew the Magic out. The Knicks just blew the Magic out. Competing with these teams, then we've got a problem. Because beating the Hornets is fine. Beating the Nets is fine. Beating all these teams the Magic have beaten so far this year, their record is what their record is. Their defense is what it is. We know the Magic can and will play better defense the next time they see the Knicks. If they don't, then we should be concerned. We put a lot of pressure on this game. We put a lot of attention on this game. That's what we do in the media. And look, this game deserved all that attention. And I'm not sitting here poo-pooing that and saying, oh, it doesn't matter, just JK, it only mattered if it went. No, it matters. The Magic now have these questions hanging over their head. The Magic now have to answer, are we good enough to beat these teams? And the only way you're going to prove it is by doing it. Now, maybe we thought the Philadelphia 76ers would answer that call. Probably not. We're going to get 2 shots at the Sixers. That's part of the NBA. You get another opportunity the next day. I expect the Magic to come out angry Wednesday. And frankly, if the Magic don't come out angry Wednesday, I'll be concerned. If they don't come out sharp and looking to make the same kind of statement New York made on Tuesday, saying we're the alpha, we're the dominant team in this relationship. If the Magic don't come out trying to make that statement on Wednesday night, then I'll be concerned. You can't let a team beat you twice. And now you got to reassert yourself. You got to find your confidence again. I don't think we saw anything on Tuesday that we didn't know was already a problem. We know the Magic need more ball handling. We know the Magic need another creator. We know the Magic need 3-point shooting. We know the Magic probably need a vertical threat. And Jonathan Isaac provides some of it. Goga Bitadze provides some of it. Wendell Carter, not consistent with it. We know the Magic need a lot of things. None of us, I think, are confusing the Orlando Magic today with a championship team. And while I think Tuesday's game could have put us down that road to start considering that, that statement in and of itself tells you the Magic still have a lot of work to do. And as always, the question is that work internal? Is that work about Paolo Banchero getting better? Is that work about Franz Wagner getting better, Jalen Suggs getting better, Anthony Black getting better? Is that about internal growth? Or does that mean it's time to finally bring some external shocks? And if the Magic want to accomplish the goals they want to accomplish, home court advantage, winning a playoff series, These are the questions the Magic have to answer. Unfortunately, the only way they can answer them is by getting back on that horse and doing this again. And the beauty of the NBA Cup, the Magic get that opportunity next week in Milwaukee in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup to show us that they are ready to run with the big boys. We'll go through the final box score, kind of put this game to rest, look ahead to the Magic's game against Sixers. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by Chime. We've all been there, spending more than we should during the holidays. It's that time of year. So take control of your finances by using a Chime checking account with features like no monthly or maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/NBA. Look, it is a busy time of the year. I am considering traveling to Milwaukee. I started looking at the prices for tickets to travel up to Milwaukee. A little pricier than I expected, but again, less than a week notice. I should have supposed that, I guess. But I got to get my finances in order. I got to make sure I have the money to be up there in Milwaukee with you. Well, Chime can help you with so many things to help you manage your money. Chime helps with fee-free overdraft up to $200. Your next deposit is applied to your balance. Get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. No monthly fees or maintenance fees, and over 50,000 fee-free ATMs. To date, Chime has spotted members over $32 billion in transactions through SpotMe. Friends give friends a boost. Here's how it works. You set up your direct deposit in your Chime account. After a qualifying direct deposit of $200+, Chime will notify you to enroll in SpotMe. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. Your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance. Chime never charges overdraft fees for using SpotMe. So enjoy the holidays while keeping your financial goals on track with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/NBA. That's chime.com/NBA. Chime feels like progress, and now the mandatory disclosures. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bank Corp NA or Stride Bank NA. Members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Direct deposit timing depends on submission of payment file. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs and for OTC withdrawals. Let's put this game to rest as the Orlando Magic fall to the New York Knicks 121-106. And again, I think we got to look at this game in two ways. First, yes, extremely disappointing, extremely disheartening effort. You know, for the first time in, it feels like first time in probably a month, a little bit more than a month. Yeah, about 4 weeks. It really felt like the Magic didn't have it defensively. And with the standard that the Magic have set for themselves defensively, that is extremely disappointing. For it to come in a big game, for it to come in a game with so many eyeballs, with so much spotlight on it, only adds to the frustration, only adds to what feels like a disappointment for this team. We know the Magic are capable of more. We know the Magic can play at a higher level against quality opponents. And so to see them falter like this, it's really disappointing. Just plain and simple. There's no other way to put it. It doesn't compute with what we know about this team. And so I want to feel the disappointment, be angry, be upset. Absolutely. The Magic are better than this. Hold them to that standard. But it's also just one game. As important as this game was, it's one of 82. And nobody plays perfect. Nobody plays their best basketball for all 82 games. You have a couple stinkers, and Jamal Mosley called this one a stinker. Everybody acknowledges they did not play their game. They did not play the way that they need to play. And that's how you end up with a game like this. That's how you fall in the hole. That's how you dig that hole even deeper. And again, it's just about, okay, this team that's been so incredibly poised and mature all season long had a lapse, had a bad game. So everyone's allowed to have a bad game. It happens. It happens in the playoffs occasionally. Like playoff blowouts like this happen all the time. It's not an indictment of the team in full. It does not erase what this team has done to this point. But like I said, it raises a lot of questions. And it raises a lot of questions about how this team will perform under pressure and ultimately how they'll perform in April. Now, obviously, they'll have Paolo Banchero hopefully in April and have him up and running and have him back to playing at an all-NBA level. So maybe it's all a moot point. Maybe we should just treat everything we're getting right now as bonus and understand it's going to get better when we get to Paolo's return here at the end of the month. That's certainly one way to look at it. I think we all expect the Magic to be better. And just frankly, this is not good enough. New York shot 50.6% from the floor, 15 for 35 from three, 20 for 20 from the foul line. The Magic did have 25 free throws. Did not feel like they had 25 free throws in this game. It really did not feel like they got to the line at all. They only had 10 free throws at the half. The Knicks had 13 at the half. Again, Orlando is second in the league in free throw rate. The Knicks are 29th in the league in free throw rate. Those numbers should be flipped. The Magic should always have more free throws than a team like the Knicks. Orlando, though, just made mistake after mistake after mistake. Although New York had 19 turnovers in this game, 10 of the 19 turnovers came in the fourth quarter. So if you're wondering why the Magic won the fourth quarter 31-15, yes, it's because the Knicks didn't play their starters very much. Karl-Anthony Towns played 5.5 minutes. Jalen Brunson did not play in the fourth quarter. As much as everyone was talking about the Knicks kept their starters out there, they did not play Brunson. So that's, I guess, Tom Thibodeau resting his guys. But 10 of the 15 turnovers that the Knicks committed came in the fourth quarter, or 10 of their 19 turnovers came at the end of the game when it's irrelevant. The Magic had 16 turnovers. The Knicks scored 32 points off turnovers. Now, that does not mean the Knicks scored off of every Magic turnover, but that is essentially what it means. And so you take that, you take the Magic shooting 43.7%. Again, Orlando can live not making shots. Like if the Magic lose because they don't make shots, that's normal. Like we're used to that. We know how to play through that. What can't happen is the other team make shots. And again, I got to give a lot of credit to New York. They made tough shots. Jalen Brunson is so good. Orlando, I thought, did a good job on him, but he got his moments. He had his moments. They got to the foul line. They had 30 assists on 43 field goals. They moved the ball really well. In fact, through the first three quarters, they had 26 assists on 38 field goals. They're moving the ball really, really well. They're stretching that Magic defense out, and then they're making threes, 15 for 35 from three for the game. Orlando just could not keep up with that. And so when Orlando is not able to get to the line, when Orlando is coughing up turnovers, we've talked about this a million times. The Magic can win without shooting. We can win without elite shooting. But that means the margin for error is smaller. That means you can't turn the ball over. That means you can't give up offensive rebounds. They gave up a few in the second quarter when New York really began to build their lead out. You can't give up these plays that put you in a further bind. And that's what continually happened. Look, Franz Wagner had another incredible game. If there is a bright spot to this game, Franz Wagner did his job. Franz Wagner did his work. 30 points, 10 for 22 shooting. Was only 1 for 5 from three, 9 for 9 from the foul line. Still had 6 assists. He had 3 turnovers, but 6 assists, 3 steals. Franz Wagner has made his case to be an all-star. He should be an all-star this year. He played like an all-star. He did his work. He put his job in, and everyone on the TNT broadcast acknowledged that. What they said was they need someone else to come with them. Jalen Suggs, 14 points, 5 for 16 shooting, 0 for 8 from 3. Just not hitting his shots. Tried to get in the paint, missed his shots. Just overcooked it. Just looked a little too excited to be in the spotlight, to be perfectly honest. I'll give him credit, only 1 turnover, but only 3 assists. Just not able to get the offense moving. And the Magic's offense was just so stagnant. It was just so rough. Orlando just unable to get themselves going. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope had 9 points, 3 for 7 shooting, made his first 3 threes. Didn't do much the rest of the game. Struggled with foul trouble. That really took him out of rhythm. But Kenny did fine. That's about what I expect from Kenny. Again, just a little bit out of rhythm because of the foul trouble early in the game. Not going to lose sleep over that. Wendell Carter really struggled. Again, 2 points. Did have 7 rebounds. I want to give him credit for that. But just a real non-factor on both ends of the floor, to be perfectly honest. Barely noticed he was there. And look, he's rebounding better now. He's playing a lot better on that front. He played only 19 and a half minutes. I think he's still on a little bit of a minute restriction, but did not deliver what the Magic needed. And yeah, the Magic missed Goga Bitadze in this one. Just to have that energy, to have that vertical threat, that's something the Magic need. Something the Magic need desperately in these games and in these opportunities. Tristan da Silva had 8 points, a lot of that coming late in the game. He looked like a rookie, looked a little bit out of his depth at times. But overall, I didn't think he was so terrible. It's just he's your fifth starter. He's not going to give you a whole lot. Mo Wagner played very well, 20 points, 7 for 13 shooting, 5 for 9 from the foul line, though, 12 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds. Got into it with Karl-Anthony Towns. Love that he got into it with Karl-Anthony Towns. So look, Towns got the better of him, made the tough shots over him, kind of maybe got him into the game a little bit in the second quarter. But I love that Mo is willing to be physical, willing to mix things up. Franz even said it after the game. Despite Mo getting a technical foul for clapping after what looked like a clean block to me, but wasn't called one, and Cat clapping back at him, which, I don't think Mo was clapping at Cat. I think Mo was clapping at himself for defending and being physical and trying to hype himself up. I rarely think Mo is actually trying to show up anybody. He's just a real outwardly emotional guy. Cat took offense to that. They both got double technicals. Cat went on his little scoring binge after that, but the Magic needed the spark. They needed someone to just frankly take a stand and say, we're not going to be pushed around. Mo was really physical with Cat. I really like that. Mo's obviously super important to this team, so I really like what he did there. Cole Anthony had an all right game as well. 10 points through 5 shooting. A lot of that coming late in the game. Cole struggled with fouling, just a clear weak link defensively. But the Magic needed a spark, needed to try and get something going. They were struggling bringing the ball up the floor, dealing with some foul trouble. They turned to Cole Anthony for that, and it was hit or miss on that front. Not a lot of scoring elsewhere, though. Jonathan Isaac, only 4 points. He was 0 for 2 on threes, had some bad misses. One block, but really a non-factor defensively, just jumpy all the time as well. Some key fouls in that game. The Knicks made a lot of like and ones, a lot of really tough shots where they just got the Magic off balance. Again, Magic defense just not disciplined in this one, and that's a big reason why they lost. Anthony Black, 6 points, 3 for 4 shooting. I thought he passed up on a few shots too. The Magic need him to be aggressive, and Magic need to stay in his ear to look for a shot, to be willing to shoot. The passing's there. We know he can make some great passes. Be a threat to shoot. Do not be afraid to score. When he scores 10 points, the Magic usually win. So getting a more aggressive and confident Anthony Black's going to be really important as the Magic move into more of these games. But like I said, it was a tough night. And outside of Franz Wagner, I don't think really anyone played to the capability. We know they're capable of playing offensively. And frankly, the whole team did not play the way that they're capable defensively. We know how good this team can be defensively. And what's crazy is they started off really well. They made their first 3 threes. They're up like 14-6. Like the Magic looked like they were really dialed in and playing well. And then the bottom just dropped out from them. The bottom they lost all their composure, and they lost the plot. That's how I've described it. They lost it, and they never could reel it back in. So again, I got to give a lot of credit to the New York Knicks. I thought they had a really good offensive game plan. They had a really good defensive game plan, especially, and the Magic just couldn't fight their way out. They couldn't figure it out. And the Knicks, credit to them again, stepped on the throat. There is nothing wrong with that. The Magic had a lot, stepped on the throat, made it hard for the Magic to do much of anything. You could feel the frustration. You could see the frustration in the Magic. And the Knicks, again, go listen to our friends at Locked On Knicks. The Knicks made the statement tonight. The Knicks made a statement to the rest of the league, made a statement to the Magic. Y'all aren't ready for this. We're ready for this. We're ready to start contending, start talking about us with the Celtics and the Cavs. And with the way they're going, I could definitely see that. The Magic, I think, still have some work to do to get there. The good news, as the Orlando Magic fall 121-106 to the Knicks, they're back in action tomorrow night, or Wednesday night tonight, against the Philadelphia 76ers. And yeah, they'll get another opportunity on the big stage. They play the Milwaukee Bucks we don't know what time yet. I'm looking over my shoulder to inside the NBA. They play the Milwaukee Bucks next week in the quarterfinals. They get another opportunity to do this against a Bucks team that is looking more like the Bucks that we know and love. And a very good Milwaukee Bucks team with a chance to go to the semifinals and play in Vegas for the NBA Cup. So we will see what the Magic are able to make out of that. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD. Subscribe and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all the Filming Signal podcasts to your podcast-enabled listening device. You can also find us on YouTube if you want to watch the show and see my cool rundown over here. See me look over my shoulder at my TV when I'm watching basketball while I'm recording these. All that fun stuff. You can check that out at YouTube. Search for it, Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, the Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. As if all that wasn't enough, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Magic Daily Newsletter, the one-stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic Newsletter. That's going to do it for me today, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. On our next episode, we'll break down the Magic's game against the Philadelphia 76ers, see if the Magic can bounce back on Wednesday night on the road. But until then, for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossman-Reich. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.